Hi, my name is David. I'm here with my dad, Miguel. The date is December 19th, 2022. We're recording this interview in Chicago, Illinois. Okay, Dad. When and where were you born?
I was born here in Chicago in 1972.
Okay, where did you grow up?
I originally was born in Cabrini Green,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then from there I moved into the west side. Well, not the west side, Chicago and Ashland, Milwaukee, where you go to school by Holy Trinity.
What was it like?
Back in those days, it is nothing like today.
You can swear, by the way.
Nah, I'm not going to swear.
You
I'm going to keep
The
it.
teacher told us you can.
It's all right, I'm not, though. But listen, back in those days when we were growing up in you know, 80s, 90s, living over there was my best childhood I've ever had. Kids were different back in the day. Kids respected their parents. We didn't have the stuff that's going on in this world today. And I just think that those were the best times of my life. I was growing up in that area.
Did you have any hardships and like any hard, troubling times? Because I know back then, especially where you lived, it was very gang populated.
Okay. So did I have hard times? Yes. We were poor at the time. I didn't have a man mentor in my life. I didn't have a father figure in my life. It was just me. Um, and my mentor were my aunt Marixa, who recently passed. You know, she was always there for me. I got the most ass whoopings from her because I was always getting in trouble. But it was because I didn't have, like I said, a father figure or a man figure to teach me right from wrong. But uh, my my mom was able to move with my stepdad to here, Cicero, and things got more complicated for me because now I was in a suburb with nowhere to go, nobody I knew, so I got into a lot more trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It was later in life, um, as I became a man, is when my world, at the age of 25, is when my life turned around. It's when I decided to make something for myself, that I was able to do so. And I was able to do it because I was hungry. I've already had slept in a park. I already have had nowhere to go. And I knew if I didn't work hard, I wasn't going to get anywhere. So it was me starting at the bottom, construction, trying to figure it out. And that's where it led to where I'm at today.
Can you tell me about some of the troubles that you had when you were younger in Cicero?
Huh.
Like what you went through?
Yeah, of course I can. I can share that with you guys. As I was growing up, I was very smart, but I didn't know how to use my smarts for the positive things because nobody ever showed me anything positive. So I got into it, a group of kids. We like to steal cars.
Mm-hmm.
We would sell drugs. You know, back then we would sell weed and stuff
Mm-hmm.
to make money because it was easy for us and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended me up in a lot of trouble with the law where I ended up going to jail here in Cicero. I escaped from the Cicero police station. Uh, it was like they were, they were looking for me for a long time. It was all over the newspapers. I escaped from the Audi home. I went to the Audi home for like 4 months.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, it's. So I'll tell you what happened. I got with a friend, and we were driving. We had stolen a car. We were joyriding, having fun though,
Mm-hmm.
and we decided that we wanted to go see some girls.
Mm-hmm.
We were 15, 16 years old. We were dumb, and we stole a car. we decided to go see some girls. And here on I-55, we were heading towards Damon, towards Random, where the cop decides to pull us over. Long story short, uh, we jumped out the car, we let the car run while it was going. We got into a big, huge foot chase. And they chased me to the Chicago River, towards the Chicago River, I think it's called, where I jumped in. And I was there for hours. And they couldn't find me. They had the boats up. Finally, some guy seen me and told on me, and I ended up going to jail. I was in jail there, of course, by myself again. You know, just trying to figure things out, and everybody hates to be locked up. But I was there for 30 days, and the judge decides to let me out. Well, my mom decides not to pick me up. So I was in the courtroom upstairs. She needed to sign me out. When the guard turned his back, I put my foot on the door, and he didn't see that, and I walked out. And then when I walked out through the second door, I walked out with another kid and his mom that they were leaving. So I was able to go out and leave. And that got me into more trouble because now I was wanted for escape again. So I ended up just being on the streets, hiding out on the north side. I would go to my grandma's house and stay with my uncles and, get into trouble. And, well, then again, I got caught. I went back to jail for another 3 months. This time I went to county jail. So I had just turned 17. And I went to the Cook County Jail. And that changed me because I stood there 6 months. I was locked up. And when I got out of there, I came home. I decided to go to work to try to straighten my life up. I was having a daughter now. And here in Cicero, I got shot at the pool. I got shot 3 times. And I died, brought back. Was able to get on my feet. I decided to leave. I ended up moving to Elgin at the age of 23, 24. I went through a separation, and that's where my life changed. That's where I said I was going to do better for myself and my family. So that's where it all started.
Who was your first love of your life? You don't have to say it's my mom.
I'm not going to say it's your mom.
I want you to be truthful.
I'm going to be very, very truthful. First love of my life was Vanessa's mom. I knew her since 2nd grade. And it was 2nd grade we went all the way through high school together. We even moved from the same neighborhood into Cicero, going to the same school. So I went with her from 1st grade all the way to 7th grade, and then we met back in high school for freshmen. And we went through high school. She ended up pregnant. I had Vanessa, and then life was difficulty with her because I didn't get along with her dad. That's when all the stuff was going on in my crazy life. So, like I said, I never had a figure to show me how to be a man, or even how to be a father.
So where did you go to school?
I went to school to Mornice. Well, for my high school, I went to ECC, which was on the other side of Wells High School on Division and Levitt. think it is. Yeah, it's just it's like where they train you to it's like a trade school type deal. I graduated from there, and I had a tough time there, and not because I was being bad, but I would always get chased by gangbangers. At that time, I wasn't gangbanging, wasn't doing nothing, so we would get chased because we lived on the other side, so they would chase us home. It was kind of fun because back then it was just about fighting. It wasn't about shooting. It wasn't about none of that stuff. They weren't into that stuff like that. So it was, whatever. So I graduated from there, went to Wells High School. I hung out with some friends, and they decided to go rob somebody's house.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked me to cut school. He said, "Hey, can you come out and watch out for us, and we'll give you a VCR." At that time, VCRs were really popular, and I wanted a VCR.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, "Yeah, we'll give you something, whatever we get or whatever." So they went, and I was watching out. Long story short, they got busted. I didn't get in trouble because I didn't go in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And when they found out it was me, I gave the stuff back. I was like, "Yo, I don't want nothing. I was just watching."
Mm-hmm.
So I got away with that. I went, the police came. They didn't press charges or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go to jail for that. But then my parents took me to Mornese.
Mm-hmm.
And back at that time, Cicero, Cicero was all white and Italian, Polish, German, and Czechs lived here.
Mm-hmm.
Back in that time, it was hard for me too because now I was the only dark Hispanic
Afro Latino.
Yeah, Afro Latino, call it. So they would call me the N-word.
Uh-huh.
So I did a lot of fighting, I had a lot of problems in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Because of
the
your
white
hair.
Latino, the white Latinos.
They didn't really mess with you because of your hair and skin complexion.
Nah, I just got along with them, so they backed me up.
Uh-huh.
And we just hung out and fought the white kids. And then from there, more Latinos came. And then, as you know now, it's all Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was back in those days. It was kind of cool. Like there was a lot of prejudice. I mean, it is what it is, but it was a lot safer back then. Because kids were more like, if you got beat up, you got beat up. Just a fist and whatever. It's not like now. Now kids are not. Kids are just killing kids. So. Anything else?
Yeah. Has any recent problems occurred? Like any hardships?
No.
No?
No, not at all.
How did you meet your spouse/partner?
My last partner?
Your current one?
My current one. Yo mama.
Yes.
Yo mama. Oh my God, yo mama. So I went to school with your mother's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And one day they came out to help me out with an issue I had in the burbs.
What had happened?
I was in a relationship, and my last girlfriend, she was just an idiot, whatever. So we ended up breaking up. They had came over, we were talking, they invited me out. I had seen your mom and Tito, and they took me to a baby shower.
Uh-huh.
And in the baby shower, I was sitting there, having a beer, watching this sexy Afro Latino woman, which is
Okay. Keep going.
okay. So I had met your mom, and we met. She gave me a hard time the first day. She ended up, coming out to visit, and me and her went through a tough time because she also didn't have a father figure, and she had her ways, I had mine. we decided that we were gonna stay together and move in. So I left my house and moved in with her here, and you came about. And the first couple of years was rough because neither one of us, this was through the whole market had crashed. There was no work. She was working.
So this was 2008.
Yeah, this was 2008, 2007, 2008, where it got really bad. But even through all that, we had rough times, because, like I said, we had to grow together. So we broke up, a couple years later. It didn't last long, 4 or 5 months. And she came back, and this time I told her, hey, you gotta let me do what I do as a man, which is, I've always worked for myself. It's what I've done. I've been successful ever since. So she allowed me to do that, and we put our heads together. I told her, hey, you're going to school. You gotta make something out of it. And she did. She went to school. I worked, took care of you, but she went to work and school. And times we were developing together as a couple as our lives were getting better and better. And to this day now, I'm still in love with your mom, because we've come a long way, and we're always there for each other. She's not just my wife, but she's my best friend.
How did you know they were the one?
How did I know she was the one?
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't know that she was the one. I didn't even think times we were gonna make it. But as we were going along, I would always ask her. I would always tell her, "Hey, this is the way I feel." It was a lot of communication that we started opening up and telling each other how we felt and what we liked, what we didn't like. And I, as a man, I believe in empowering women, not chaining them up or making them feel lesser than me, because I think all humans are equal. And I think I've always found it attractive to see a woman in power. So when I met your mom, she had that already in her. She had that strive to be successful. So, talking to her and telling her how I felt, what is it that I wanted in a woman, and I wanted somebody successful, somebody that can take care of themselves, can contribute, but also if something ever happened to me, that she never needed anybody else. So, and that's how we grew. I mean, with communication, I was talking, you see how we get along. We never fight. I mean, we have our disagreements, don't get me wrong. She acts crazy, but she's a great woman. I mean, I couldn't put it into no other words. Are we still growing in our relationship? Yeah, we're still growing. It's like every relationship still grows. Do I see myself getting old with her? Yeah, I do. I see myself dying out on her. So, life's about decisions. But before you make those decisions, you should always think about those decisions. And you should never judge another person when they do wrong. You should always explain to them. Because some people don't have the guide, somebody to guide them, to tell them, hey, this is wrong, or hey, you're doing it wrong, or what you said was ignorant. Sometimes just having a simple conversation with somebody and letting them know how you feel makes it a better thing. It's like me and you. When sometimes you piss me off or whatever, I walk away from you and figure out the correct words to say. Sometimes I do blow up, and then I come back and you see that I apologize. You say, hey, you know what, that's not right. I'm sorry, but this is what you did. You know what I'm saying? So in life, as long as you can communicate and you can put your goals in front of you and you can execute them, you're gonna be successful. there's one thing. Always take the negative, whatever anybody tells you, even the constructive criticism, and turn it into positive. And when things don't seem right, that you know that they're not going right, then what you do is you stop, you adapt, you think, you analyze, and you finish.